Recording.
Good evening and welcome to the Hideaway Hills Management Committee meeting as of April 15th, 2021. We've got a busy agenda tonight, so we're gonna dive right in. But I am excited that the lodge is finally reopening to somewhat of a full menu Thursday night. So it's been a long time coming. So for Jeff and your team have worked hard. So all right. Eric Boysko is here to talk about the resource directory. So Eric, we'll let you go first, and then you can stay on as long as you would like.
Thanks, I appreciate it. Just to refresh anyone out there listening, the resource directory is something new that was created this year by the Utility Services Committee. It currently has about 250 variety of skills out there on all different levels. These are all members that are offering their services for any HAH products out there. So it is still a work in progress because we really don't have a blueprint that we've gone off in the past. And we took our time to present a good directory, and we're really calling it a resource directory, and it should be more of a resource kit because it includes more than just member names and professions. We hope to have other types of resources in there like spreadsheets, tips, do's and don'ts, common things that when somebody, again, we're a community of volunteers. So when somebody is in charge of a ad hoc committee or a project out there and they may be going outside there, even if they're within their scope of skills, it will remind you things like, did you contact the ACC? Well, some people might think, well, of course, the ACC should be on board. No, it's not, of course. Did you pull permits? Other things that we'll have in the directory, and we hope to add more and more over time. So thank you for all who contributed to making this first directory so comprehensive, because let's face it, the first year we didn't expect we'd get 100 skills, and we've got over 250 skills. So that really shows, it's a testament to the Hills and really shows a willingness to help. So there's everything in there. If you haven't seen the Echo, or if you haven't seen the listing, it's in the latest issue of the current issue of the Echo. It will also be in the Hideaway Hills website under Utility Services Committee, and there's a link for it. So if you get a chance, take a look at it. There's everything in there from cybersecurity to data analysts to commercial constructions and everything in between. So it's really have an instant expertise. It's kind of a one-stop resource guide, so to speak. So we hope the features will grow over time. So we're going to be slow and adding to it, but again, we hope to keep going over time. So let's talk some of the practical applications for this. Right now, there's 3 separate ad hoc lakes committee that's specializing in skills from water clarity to infrastructure to water depth. So a few of these skills that are represented in the resource directory, and I believe the ad hoc committee is using some of them: surveyors, civil engineers, aquatic biologists, underwater search or scuba divers, or even sonar. So we've got a pretty good there. We have a member that is a conflict resolution professional. Need I say any more on that one? We also have, there's been talk of the Hills, Hills have been around for over 60 years. Why don't we have a beneficiary trust, an endowment fund where members can leave assets in their will? So we certainly have plenty of financial advisors in there, attorneys, bankers, nonprofit professionals to really get this thing, if somebody wanted to undertake that project, to really get that rolling pretty quickly. Jeff, there's dietitians out there. There's several dietitians if the clubhouse or lodge menu ever needed to get nutritional information on there. So one last thing, and then I'll just stop and ask if you have any questions. There is over 50 retired people who just said we're retired and they'd be willing to be contacted on information. So it's a great guide, and if I do say so myself, I might be prejudiced, but we hope that the committee start utilizing it. We hope that any of the people taking amenity money start to take a look at it. Even if you know everything you're doing in there, it's always good to get a second opinion, to make your life easier. So, do any of you have any questions?
Eric, did you want
Is
to?
it on our
I'm
website?
sorry. Go ahead.
Is it on our website, Eric?
Yes, right now, go to the committee section, scroll down to the bottom, Utility Service Committee, and there's a link on there.
Gotcha.
Did you, given the information that was supplied by so many members, did you want to delve a little bit into the confidentiality side and
Thank you.
the version that you've actually got posted?
Thank you. I've already had at least 3 requests. Can you offer some of these services for the home user for their issues? And the answer is no. Right now, because of the privacy and because these members have said they're willing to help on Hideaway Hills only projects, we are the only, other than myself that has it, is Jeff in the office that has it. So if you are working on a project, let's say we're working on a amenities money is spending money and they're building something, and they want people that are contractors, they want people that are electricians or whatever the case may be, they would just reach out to Jeff and say, you know, I'm Eric Boyce, I'm working on this ad hoc committee. I need all these names, and here's what I'm doing. And they would reach out to Jeff or the office, and they would give them the names and contact information. We'll even have sample letters in there. You can insert, hey, you know, dear Mr. or Mrs. Member, you expressed a willingness to help. Here's the project we're working on. When is a good time to reach you? So as if members say, I'm getting too many calls, they want to be updated or deleted, and I've already gotten 3 updates since it's been put out, I'll be responsible, and the utility services will be for updating it, get that in Jeff's hands. And if somebody wants to be taken off or added, we'll be doing it too. But because of privacy, I want to be real clear on this. Because of privacy, because it's so new, we're not releasing a directory with all the names in there so that somebody may say, hey, this guy's an attorney and this guy's whatever their profession is, that they're reaching out for private use. And we could certainly expand it over time and loosen those strings up a little bit, but because it's so new, we want to kind of treat it with kid gloves in there as well. So we want to try to learn some of our past mistakes and go from there. Any other questions?
All right.
Okay.
Thanks, Eric.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome to hang on if you just go ahead.
Oh,
and
one more
make
thing. I want to say this is also available to Rick and maintenance, to Elmer and the golf committees, any of our, even security, if they're working on a project, any of our staff members, period, any Hideaway Hills project. It's not just a member driven project. So any of the staff members, if they're working on something, that's how we phrase it in the survey. So thank you.
Excellent.
Thanks,
Thank you,
sir.
Eric.
Gotcha.
Thanks, Eric.
All right, Eric, you're welcome to stay on. Just if you mind muting yourself, so we don't get any more background noise than we normally would. So, Jeff, you want to walk us through the delinquency totals and capital depreciation dam allocation numbers?
Certainly. Delinquencies, this is still as of last month. February 15th, we started off at $23,386, and then started off March 15th at $26,945. Of that, $7,900 has been paid thus far. And that may actually be more after this was sent out. We've got another phone call that Penny was actually dealing with for payment. Road delinquencies, 2,210 as of February 15th, and then 2,870 as of March 15th. Questions?
No.
There? Nope. Okay. Capital depreciation and dam allocations and expenses. So we are now caught up through the end of the year. I know that's kind of a spoiler alert for the next management committee meeting. With all of the account funding, which puts us at the capital reserve account is at $331,140. Depreciation fund is $331,887, with about $38,000 burning a hole in that, waiting on a fairway mower to get here. Dam account total is at $118,548. So we're getting close to both the time when we will stop receiving payments from everybody, and we have had several payoffs over the last week or two, but also to where we'll start need to borrowing against that $101,000 that we can't touch. In that account that we can't touch until the whole thing's paid off is 101,705, just gaining because of interest. And then the dam repair checking as of the last payment made, and as of Friday, and the last payment made was at 16,841. Reminder that payments are just over 33,000.
Do we know the outstanding balance on the?
I
On the
do
line.
not. I will find out and I can email it to everybody.
Yeah, we'd like to know what we're gonna have to check out of operating at this point.
Okay, and I would open QuickBooks, but last time I tried that, that's when it locked me out of the
No,
meeting.
it's not.
So
It's not that important. We're probably targeting the end of the golf season for the fairway mower at this point. Is it-
yes, they're not willing to give us an ETA, but they are behind, so far behind because of COVID, because of factory shutdowns and that kind of thing. But we're hearing the same thing from Toro and John Deere. Maybe we pay 20,000 more and get it a month sooner, but it's not
Yeah,
worth it.
Not worth it. It can just be a surprise when it does finally show up. So, okay. Any other questions on capital depreciation or dam numbers?
Nope.
All right.
Like those numbers.
I'm gonna get some money back in there, but
Yep.
we're not out of the hole yet. Request for expenditures. Jeff, you want to walk us through each of these? Jeff,
We lost
you
Jeff.
dropped off.
Yeah, you got kicked off.
Marty, you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
My battery's starting to go, so I'm just gonna leave the camera off for a little bit.
All right. Steve, you still there? Everyone's dropping off here.
Yeah, I'm on hotel internet, so I thought I'd
Yeah.
save some of my bandwidth and turn the video off. Sorry.
All right, that's all right.
Sorry, we're a traveling band of soldiers here tonight, it seems like, so.
Yeah. Are you at home, Rex, or you in
No,
Kansas?
I'm at home this week, so
Wow. We'll give Jeff a minute here to get back on.
It's like you're in the cloud, Rex.
yeah, I think I've got that silly
The
Thank
blur.
blur, and
Blur.
I'm not
Yeah.
smart enough to get it off.
There's Jeff.
You're back. Maybe.
He's host. He's muted.
Muted.
Like the Blair Witch
There you go.
Project here.
There we go. It did it
Hey.
to me again. All I had to do was mention QuickBooks and it locked
Yeah.
up.
All right. Okay. As we get the Blair Witch Project over here.
Sorry.
We're looking at the ceiling now.
Okay. Yeah. I'm trying to get the computer back up. But we can
Gotcha.
keep talking. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah,
Yep.
we're kind of
Very
at an important point where we need you. Request for expenditures.
So I sent you all the list that we had, and bear with me, I'm having to reboot the computer so I can get to it. Well, actually, why don't we go over the zero turns to start? Can we go out of order a little bit? Those I have printed out.
Yeah,
Sure.
that'd be good.
So equipment list, we had $11,000 planned for a new zero turn mower. We've got 2 bids. Jacobson does not make fairway mowers, doesn't participate in that at all. So we got through Avendra, we got Toro, and we've got John Deere. With Toro being not only Rick and Elmer's preference, but also about $500 cheaper than what we would pay for the John Deere. So I would like to have approval to go ahead and spend $7,397.29 on a Toro zero turn mower, commercial grade.
I can make that motion.
I'll second it.
And, okay, we got Mitch on the table. Anybody want to ask any questions?
What kind of warranty do they have on them? And should we maybe consider if there's an option for an extended warranty on something like that?
We can certainly check on the extended warranty. It is a 1-year warranty. But we'll check out what type of time frame do you think we should look at?
Well, again, it's going to be based probably on the length of service contract for a warranty is going to, change the price. But, generally your first 2 or 3 years, I would think you'd have a problem if you're going to have it, other than wear and tear items. But just thinking as an option, it's just, something we've started doing within our company, and it saved us a lot of money down the road on a lot of things. It never hurts to ask.
No, true.
So what we could do is approve the bid, and then if they do offer an extended warranty, which I don't know they will for commercial, we could always just amend the agreement. So we've got a motion to spend $73.97.29 on the table. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that's
And this
good
will
to
be
go,
in
Jeff.
addition to what we have.
If they do offer an extended warranty, I'm going to be shocked if they do for commercial use, but we can just add that and re-amend the motion.
Okay, got it.
But we can go ahead and get it ordered, and then you can just ask that at that point.
Okay, and we can always tag that on at the end if we need to.
Yeah.
I think that wasn't Steve's question. Steve, you're one who knows this. Are we replacing one, or is this in addition? Is that what you wanted to know?
Yeah.
This was a replacement. Let me see if I.
We have an old Toro on the list that's pretty well beat to death. So it is a replacement. I'm sure Rick will want to keep it until it does actually blow up, but
Well, that's what I was just thinking. I mean, something like, I thought if it's going to still be around, it could be something that they could use, like maybe over at the range. We could use it to mow grass there. So if something happened to it, mowing that area, it wouldn't be taking one of our other mowers out. That's why I was kind of thinking of it that way. Maybe some of our
I don't think they're going to get rid of
scruffier,
it.
rougher areas might be a good thing to keep.
Yeah, I don't know that they're going to get rid of that old Toro. I mean, Rick will keep it till it dies, but
Yeah.
He likes, he's pretty good about saving club money. But yeah, it is a replacement. But we've done that before. When we bought the LS tractor, it was to replace the old Ford 3930, but it keeps running. So as long as it doesn't blow an engine or transmission, we'll just keep it going. So, okay. Any other questions? All right, freezers and griddles and char grillers
and such.
and such.
So on the equipment list, we've actually got replacement of a freezer. It's marked as clubhouse, but the clubhouse actually took one of the lodge freezers after the lodge shut down initially. So rather than jockey freezers around, I think you just bring it up to the lodge. One is definitely needed. We've only got right now 48 cubic feet of freezer space, and double that would be wonderful. We are looking at 2 quotes, and these are actually all the kitchen equipment is actually outside of Vendra. The best price here, and we had $3,900 on the equipment list. The best price here is $3,499. Shipping we'll get for nothing. I'll join their membership for a month at $99, and that way we get all the shipping free for everything we get from Websteront. But $3,499, that will be the same size, 54 inches wide, 48.2 cubic feet, I think it is, worth of freezer space. And then to answer the question of extended warranties, we can go with the 2-year standard, or for another 137, get a 3-year, 307, get a 4-year, 367, get a 5-year. So that all and then tax would end up putting us a little bit over on this, over that $3,900, but that's why I'm saving the char griller and flat top for last.
Gotcha. Yeah, we'll approve each of these separately, because they're all separate purchases. So, anybody got questions on this freezer?
Yeah, with the warranty, Jeff, what are they, I mean, what are they covering? They cover major problems, are there circuit boards, or, I mean, I know there's condensers, compressors, things like that.
Yeah, it'll cover all of the major parts. It's condensers, compressors. It is if there's a freon leak, that is not something that we did by hitting it with an ice pick or something like that. They would take care of that. Webstron actually has a pretty good warranty program, and they just, if they don't have a local tech, then they will actually send somebody out from a company that they don't normally use. So we could basically pick our own company at that point, whether Fairfield Heating and Air or whoever, to come out and do it. And I'm guessing they don't have a whole lot of techs out in our area, just a guess. Now the other option there was about $6,000 for a Tralson freezer, but you know, you get an extra year warranty for nothing on that. I don't think it's worth the $6,000.
Gotcha. What other questions you guys have?
$137 bucks
brand,
a
is
year
that-
is cheaper than a service call.
Sure.
Yeah, it is.
So, do we want to extend the warranty, or?
I would.
Yeah, with refrigeration, I would for sure. That gets expensive.
How long do you want to extend it out for?
I'd go with
What were the
4 or
prices?
5 year.
What were the prices again, Jeff?
137 for 3 years. So standard is 2. 137 for 3 years, 307 for 4 years, or 367 for 5 years. So I would argue that the 367 is probably the best value. Again,
We'll
it'll
get
put us
that.
over budget once you add tax, but it'll be worth it. And we've got other savings going on.
That would be one service call. Really?
Oh, man, if you're lucky.
Yeah. I say
All
we
right.
go with the 5.
So, you making a motion, JJ?
Sure.
The freezer plus the 5-year
Plus 5.
extended warranty?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Do we have a second?
Second.
Rex?
Yep.
All right. All in favor?
Yeah.
Aye. All opposed? All right. Let's order a freezer.
Okay.
What do you want to hit next? Flat top charbroiler or the 10 burner range?
Let's do the flat top and charbroiler, because those we actually have on the equipment list. The range is a little bit more of a discussion.
Okay.
Okay, so our comparison here was a Vendra versus not a Vendra. You know, when you're thinking about both flat tops or griddles and charbroilers, it's basically thermocouplers, burners, and gas lines. There's not a whole lot to those, so there's really not a lot of reason to spend a ton of money on them. And this Cooking Performance Group is considered one of the best, but saves quite a bit of money over going with a Vulcan or a Vollrath or something that's got more of a name brand. It is $1,799. There would be some shipping on that, but with that plus membership that I would participate in, but based on a phone call to them, it would be under $100 in shipping. We have, for reference sake, $6,000 combined budgeted on the equipment list for both the char griller and the griddle. So we're looking at 1,799 of that here plus tax. And then the char griller is, and we'll do the higher price comparisons in a minute, is 899. And that one is actually, we would convert it to propane, but it actually comes with the orifice that you need to do the conversion, and Rick's confident in that.
What size is that?
The char broiler is 36 inch. and the griddle is 24-inch. We currently have a 60-inch griddle, which unless you're doing breakfast all day long, it doesn't make a lot of sense. So you're looking at, and I didn't do the math, 1,800 basically, and 900, so 3,700, plus another $100 in shipping plus tax. You'll come in just over $4,000 for something that we had, $6,000 budgeted for. There's my savings for the refrigerator.
Did you say one was 1,800 and the other one was 900?
Yes.
That's 2,700, isn't it?
Oh, you're right. Yeah, good point. So just over $3,000.
Wow, see how
That's
Linda's
even
saving
more.
money now? We got her.
Look
kicked
at that.
in.
Cool $1,000 right off the bat there. And you find when you go and look at the the more expensive branded ones, the Vulcans and that kind of thing, you know, those are like 2 stars versus the Cooking Performance Group. It tends to fall right about 4.2 to 4.5 in anywhere I looked.
Gotcha.
So we have experience with this. Do you have it, or our new chef have experience with this brand?
Yeah, I do.
Worthwhile,
Those are the ones we got at the Cliffs probably 10 years ago. I don't know if they're still running, but they were running when I left 4 years later.
Okay. No, I was just
Now that said, that was natural gas there. These are propane, but shouldn't be a whole heck of a lot of a difference. It's really the size of the gas inlet that you put on it.
Yeah, no, I was
Yeah.
just wondering. And again, I know nothing about them, so that's why I was asking you. And you guys know how I am about money because I squeak and I'm trying to retire. So you're just gonna have to excuse that crap. I tell my kids I'm on a fixed income now, even though I'm still working. But I mean, there's a 4-footer here for $800. And again, same thing that you're describing: stainless steel, and there's not any working parts in them. You know, and if we could save some money on this end and add to something else down there, you know, with the budget, that's why I was saying, is there a bad one or a good one or?
Yeah,
I don't-
Avantco is not a good. They do good refrigerators or freezers. They don't do great countertop stuff. I had one of those. I want to say it was a griddle, if I'm not mistaken, that we tried at one place, and it was good for about 1.5 years. We'd like to get it to last a little bit longer than that.
All right.
Yeah.
No, I was just looking at a Black Diamond from K-Tom. And again, 48-inch total stainless steel burners, the whole 9 yards, catch trays, 120,000 PTU. And you're looking at $750.
Okay.
That's
Yeah,
why I
I've
was
never
just asking.
never heard of that brand.
Now, to your beginning conversation, there's no moving parts on them. So that
Correct.
one's, you know, for charboiling, it's heat and flame and knobs to adjust the heat. And again, this is the same thing. This is sold as natural gas with all the parts to come with it that converts to LP.
Okay.
I mean, the thing is, Steve, we don't know, is that going to be a good unit or not? I mean,
Don't know that for either one. That's why I was asking Jim.
Yeah, Jeff knows this one's a quality unit. What are we doing with the old flat top?
We're gonna try and sell it. I mean, with restaurants still continuing to close down, it may be a tough sell, but we're gonna try and sell that just because I think we can. It may take a while, and if nothing else, it's worth something to scrap, I'm sure.
Okay. So, you guys, any other questions on these? Buy these as a package.
Yeah.
We have a motion on the table. Hint.
Yeah, I'll make the motion
AJ,
for the purchase of the Char-Broil broiler and the flat top.
all right. So I got a second out there.
Rex will second
Rex.
that.
All right. All right. All in favor of buying the car driller and flat top? Aye.
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 Any opposed?
Aye.
All right. Moving on. The last item I think is the burner range with 2 ovens. Did you send us a quote on that?
No, that I did not, because that's just an initial conversation. Did we want to look at any of the more expensive stuff on the char griller and broiler, or just consider it passed and move on?
Let's go with
Was
what
it-
what you presented, and then we'll move on.
Okay,
We,
very good.
Yeah, that's what you
Um,
wanted to buy, wasn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't-
So that nice big Vulcan 10 burner stovetop and double oven that we have was built in 1994. Neither of the ovens are currently working, which is problematic because you've got the two convection ovens, but they're halfway across the kitchen, and we don't need to have people running around flat tops and char broilers and running over to the oven if something is done or if they need to throw something into the oven. We have a bid coming. It's supposed to be here tomorrow from Commercial Parts Group. That is, it's going to be for thermocouplers. It's going to be for new burners. I forget what the other part is called. One doesn't even have the knob on it, as well as the igniters. If that comes anywhere near what we can get this oven for, then I'm going to suggest that we actually just go with a brand new unit. I'm going to say, I don't know if we've had it since 1994. Rick remembers it being in existence for as long as he has. But bottom line is, we need a 10 burner range. We need 2 working ovens. And I don't know that we want to necessarily sink in $1,500 to $2,000 to a 1994 unit. So I guess the discussion that I want to have is, at what point do we say, okay, forget about it, we're going to scrap that one and we'll get something new, with the price on the new being $2,129, shipping's included. And that is actually a propane unit, and there would be no changes necessary.
All right. Questions on that? I mean, is that something we want to entertain?
no, I'd like to just see what the prices are. You know, you said they'll be coming in shortly. When they come
Yeah.
in, take them, look at it. You know, depending on what it comes in, I'm leaning more towards new, you know, for the 21, 29. But, you know, let's have something where we can base our decision on.
Okay, now the part of this discussion is that if we get the quote and it's ridiculous, that we're going to need to get the trigger pulled pretty quickly, because we didn't realize these ovens weren't working until the day before Easter weekend, when we started firing stuff up to test it. So ideally, I guess just an email to everyone saying, okay, here's the quote. What do you think? After,
We can-
so we don't have to wait until next meeting.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
can
I'll go
approve
with
this via an email.
Okay.
I'm fine with that.
That's cool. I didn't realize those ovens didn't work.
Yeah. Eric said it's been quite some time. They just removed the guts from one side, and the other one is at minimum a thermocoupler and whatever the unit is that holds the pilot light. I'm technical.
Do you know, is the, if we had to go with the replacement, are they available?
Replacement.
The new.
The parts.
No, the new oven.
Yes, yeah. Currently it is in stock. The only thing that's not in stock in all of this is that specific char griller, but they expect it in within a week or two. And we're not doing steaks right now anyway, just because of staffing levels and the lack of a char griller. So it won't hurt us not having a char griller in the very short term.
I just didn't want to make a decision to buy new and then have another fairway mower.
Yeah.
So, and then we're without anything.
No, they actually, if we pull the trigger on that, they are saying right now, they're saying delivery within a week.
Very good.
All right.
All right. So we'll just approve that electronically when we get a final quote. So moving on, discussion items. So first one, I guess, is mine. North Park porta pots. we had some member complaints. This came through the Long Range Planning Committee that members are walking across private property to get to the porta pot when they at the North Docks when they're in North Park. And so the question was, can we just get a porta pot down there for the summer with all the kayaks and canoes and activity going on down there? Is it worth getting a porta pot down there, having it serviced? It need to be somewhere fairly close to the driveway, just to so the truck can get to it easily. But I don't know what those run a month, Jeff. It's
Right about 99 with tax.
yeah,
100,
service. So we're talking, April through October, and then pull it out for the winter. The other issue there is, it was brought up in the long range planning as part of their list of stuff to do, is does the light down there work? Can it be fixed? Just to have lighting down there in that park. I know the park don't get used, and it does get used, but people can walk in there to fish. They just can't park in there after dark. But I don't honestly haven't been down there in a long time to know if that light actually works. So if it does not work, then maybe we just need to see what do we have to do to get it fixed. Do we need a scissor lift or something? I assume we probably don't have anything tall enough to get up there.
Okay, is that one of the like the mercury vapor type
Yeah,
lights on top of a pole? So does that belong to us, or does that belong to South Central Power?
I honestly don't know the answer to that.
Okay.
It may be South Central Power, maybe just making a phone call to them and tell them it's out.
Yeah, a lot of time those security lights that are that high up on their poles belong to the power company. So
Yeah. Now this one there's a pole there and electric running to it, but I don't think that electric goes anywhere after that. So I don't know if that was just ran there for that light or what.
okay.
So I guess we'll table the light until we figure out who owns it. But what do you guys feel about getting a porta pot down there, so people crossing the properties?
I got another.
There's two currently that's been at the rate. Can you not hear me?
Yeah,
We can hear you.
Sorry.
Hello? Should I get closer? There's two
Nope,
that we're
we can hear-
paying for down at the range. You might double check with Dwayne Mickey, but I mean, for the number of people we have there, I don't know that we have two, and it just showed up like 2 or 3 years ago. I don't know why we even have two down there. So it may not be an additional cost. Just a thought, but I'd check with Dwayne, see what he thinks. He's the chair of the committee, but just a potentially an issue or solution.
You just have to pay to service it, but that's it. So
They're just seldom used down at the range, and like I say, to have two there doesn't seem like it's worthwhile. Maybe.
all right. What's Steve, you want to reach out to Dwayne and see if they want to give up
Yeah.
on them?
Right.
I know maintenance can move it with the forks. Just have it emptied and move it with the forks, and have our company just reservice it there.
Okay.
So, okay. More to come on that. Amphitheater, Porta Johns. Last year we did not get the Porta Johns at the amphitheater just because there was no concert season. This year again, so they are having concerts planned, and the social committee has approached me and made their plea, and just what's been happened before is the management committee has had the social committee pay for them. Obviously, we were trying to pinch pennies at that time, which I mean we still are, but their argument is we're paying for the Porta Johns at other amenities that we should pay for them at the amphitheater, and I probably don't disagree with that. I think they usually get one handicap and one regular Porta John. It gets used all year during the season, but mostly for the concerts. But anybody that rents the amphitheater can use them also. But so I guess I want to get your thoughts on that.
So question for that one, would you say just get it during concert season?
Yeah, typically they would get them in, and we'd get them in mid-May. They've
Okay.
always gotten them as mid-May, and they'll pull them out mid-September to October after concert season's over. They're just asking us if the management committee would pay for them this year.
We're providing them for other amenities. It makes sense. We would.
I'm okay with it.
And I don't know a
Steve and
cost
Marty?
for a double unit like that off the top of my head.
Yeah, it's maybe it's maybe a couple $100. It's not that expensive if we only get two of them. You know, one handicap accessible and one regular one. So Marty and Steve, what about you guys?
Does it make any sense just to?
Gotta have 'em.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody opposed to that?
Marty was
Nope.
saying something like.
Yeah, Marty started to say something.
Marty?
Yeah, does it make any sense just to bring the porta potties in for the events that are up there instead of having them sit there the whole time?
I think we've looked at both. The delivery charge kind of trumps just leaving them there for the summer.
Yeah, they actually charge you by the month. And then it was either $50 or $55 delivery charge. I don't know if there's a pickup charge or not. I haven't any picked up yet, but I think that ended up costing us more, Marty.
Okay. So how many total would we have?
Counting like around the club.
Yeah.
Well, there's one at the beach, one at the boat ramp, and then the ORV committee has one that they bought that just we pay to get service. Apparently the range has two, and there's one at the North Docks. That's all I can think of.
Yeah, it's just three that we had delivered April
Probably be
1st.
the beach, the boat ramp, and the North Docks.
Yep.
Yeah. So. All right. So any other comments on this? All right, we'll move forward. So just work with Dee Dee Parker on just make sure that's what they want and where they
Okay.
want it. He's the new Secretary Chairman. All right, Steve, you ready to talk about pond aeration and water treatment?
Okie dokie. Still good to hear me?
Yep.
All right. Aerators for Deerfoot, we'll start with that one. So through Avendra, Jeff was able to get with Power West Turf Services. He forwarded the information to me and I did some research on it. Actually talked to the salesman today and he thought he was going to get us a quote, but Jeff or I, either one have seen that yet. So just based off what we're looking for, it's called a VFX aerating fountain. It's the brand that they carry through this Par West. This is a floating aerator that will run in 2 to 3 foot of water, which if we move it towards the deeper end, that's not going to be an issue for us. And again, just pulling off their website. And again, it depends. The cost variation is on how much power cord we would need to run to power the thing. He suggested a 240 volt unit, single phase, which is what we have available down there. I checked with Rick here this afternoon and he confirmed that. So the difference is about $500. So 100 foot of cable versus 200 is going to be about another $500. And it may be something we can even buy cabling locally. But it sounds like due to watertight connections and thing on this is something they install at the factory for the fountain. And that's probably a good idea instead of us, trying to wire something up and then have an issue with the electric. But off their website, before any of our discounts, you're looking at about $3,000 with the 100 foot and then another 100 foot of cords, another $500. And I would consider we'd have a pretty sizable discount under that, but we don't have that pricing yet.
Okay. So we'll
Nice. And again, start talking about the aeration. Sorry.
You're blanking out on this, Steve.
Of course we are.
There we go.
It's not my wife tonight on the other side.
So, what discussion we want to have on getting this aerator ordered?
I guess my question is, because we already have the lakes subcommittees, all seem to be chasing the same thing.
I can hardly hear Marty,
I didn't hear you, Marty.
as well as Steve.
Marty, can you speak up? Marty,
Hold on a second.
Steve, are you still there?
All right.
Yes,
better?
I'm still here.
What was the price off their website?
Okay, so the basic fountain, again, 1 horsepower, single phase, 40 was 3,000 before discount. The only additional cost would be if we need more than 100 foot of electric cable to run.
Okay.
And that, his price sheet was about another $500 per 100 foot is what their website says.
Okay.
And that's for a basic fountain aerator that floats on top of the water. There's add-ons down the road. If you want to add LED lights to it, you can change colors and look like a Las Vegas show if you want. After we make our 10th $1 million, then we can buy that option.
All right, Marty, what was your question?
So my question was that we seem to have like 3 different groups chasing the same thing here with these lakes and the, we get talking about an aerator here and all this other stuff. And then we got the Lakes Committee, and then we have the subcommittees looking into all these different things. So I guess I'm just a little confused as to who's doing what, and are we duplicating efforts and, not utilizing our time very well? I mean, I don't have a problem with going out and doing this, but if we're going to do that, then the water quality folks are, like that team, then they don't have to do it over there, right? It's just we need to coordinate that better.
Fair enough. Well, I would say this, Marty, the ultimate maintenance of these lakes is the responsibility of the management committee. Now, subgroup, it's basically a subgroup of the management committee to come up with recommendations on, the maintenance and health of our lakes. And the lakes committee's, a board sponsored committee that, really looks to supplement both the management and the board with fundraising and, purchasing and ideas. So I guess that's the clarification I would think, taking care of the weeds, taking care of the area, and that all falls under the management committee.
No, I understand that.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking that we've got these other groups that are out there doing the same thing, and they're looking at the same issues. So we have too many cooks, right?
I could use a few.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I
bet you could. I don't have a problem. I'm just questioning that. We as a committee.
we do
need
try to
figure,
coordinate. I do.
Yeah,
I mean,
we as a
ultimately,
committee need to do that. We need to coordinate that.
I don't think the Lakes Committee has any interest in buying this aerator. We have worked well with the Lakes Committee when we need things like kayak racks, and they've done a lot of great things for us. But ultimately, it's been our lap to take care
Marty,
of these aerators.
I think what the main goal of the project committee is to find out whose responsibility these things do fall under. And that's part of what we're going to do. Once we determine what needs to be done, then we can go. Then the goal is to come back and go. Does that money come out of operating? Does that money come out of depreciation? Is that an amenity? And so that's a lot of what we'll be doing once we, we're doing a couple things first to determine what needs to happen. And then that way, when we're done, hopefully we won't have these discussions anymore, because it will be clear that this fountain is a management expense that will come out of the capital fund because we take care of the lakes. Or we could come up with something different, and that could be the suggestion of the committee that no, we think that this would be amenity money, you know. But right now, yeah.
No, Rex, and I agree totally with what Jim was saying. That I mean, the day-to-day operations of everything within Hideaway Hills falls under the responsibility of the management committee, right? And the lakes certainly are that. And when you put an aerator into a lake, as a management committee, we're going to take ownership of that. And I get that. What I'm saying is that, you know, we have the subcommittee that you kind of have put together there, right, is going and looking after the same things that Steve just did, right? So to me, it's like we need to include all of that. Maybe I'm not explaining myself right, but I think that some of the time that people are spending on things could be better spent doing something else because that problem's already solved, or at least there's something working for it, towards it, right? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think with having Rex run that committee, I think we are kind of staying focused. But I get your point.
That's my only question. I'm not.
Projects, you know, it's a year old, so this isn't something we're creating new. It was just funding wasn't there last year for us to make these type of improvements. So we tried to keep things in check the best we could last year, in hopes of being able to have the finances to do that this year. And that's kind of where we're at. This one was just a continuation, but your point is well taken. I get what you're saying.
No, we've got a long range planning committee that will be doing some of this as well. And so there is a lot of cross efforts, and I'm not sure how we get away from that. But no, you're Marty, you're spot on. So I mean, you know.
Okay. No, and I don't want to belabor the point. I just wanted that was my only comment on it. I mean, I agree that we need to do something with it. So, okay.
So do we want to, when we get final pricing, approve this via email?
I'm good with that.
Yeah,
I'm okay with that.
All right.
And this would come out of capital fund, is that correct? Since it's new, over $1,000.
Yeah, that's fine. We just take out capital.
Yeah, I would say so.
All right, Steve, you want to talk about water treatment?
Yeah. So I know we've recently, if not already, I did talk with Greg Weber from the Lakes Committee after I think he talked to you and you pushed him towards me, is kind of looking over this kind of stuff, and that's cool. But in talking with him, you know, we discussed some options. I think they just got, I believe, a number, 1220, I don't remember what it was, of grass carp that I believe have been released in there. Is he thought the following week that we talked, and I think it's been a couple weeks. So I think they may have been released in there. In their comments where they were hoping that the grass carp would start working on this. So I kind of backed up since my conversation with him. And until we get some maturity on the new grass carp, I mean, their consumption of food is very high, and that's why they work so well in these pond situations. But as small fish being put in there, they're somewhat limited to what they're actually going to take out. The second piece of that is the grass carp prefer things that are rooted on the bottom, things that they can float along the bottom and actually skim and eat off the bottom of the lake. And while they will, if there's no other food source, they will eat duckweed, but it's not their preferred, I guess, menu item, if you will. Jeff, you'd appreciate menu items, so no grass carp, no duckweed on the menu at the lodge.
Copy
so
that.
Those couple things, and I just noticed with what seems to be a earlier spring this year, maybe not, but it seems like it caught me by surprise. It seems like it was just snowing, but we have a large bloom already taking place down there, and the edges of our down at the shallow end where the bridge is, it goes between the two lakes, is starting to turn considerably green. And if people are noticing that, they also will notice that this stuff moves across the top. So again, that's showing that this type weed actually survives on the top of the water. It's not a rooted crop that the grass carp will actually take a hold of until there's nothing else for them to eat. Second to that, we looked at using a pond dye, which is basically just a natural curling element that you put into the water. It turns it a nice, well, depending on the amount you use, from a light blue to a very dark blue purple, if you wish. I don't think I'd ever want to see it that much. Absolutely no toxicity to fish. It helps control plant life by limiting amount of the sunlight that actually makes it through the water, because without sunlight, green plants can't grow. So that is an option. Unfortunately, we tried some of that last year in a limited thing, only to find that it controlled some of the stuff that had not come through, but anything that is already floating in green on top of the water, it does absolutely nothing for. And that's when researched, found a product that was called Diquat. And again, it is a safe product. It is made for EPA approved, fully labeled and legal to use, and it is main use is for weed control in ponds. No toxicity to fish. The only warning about fish on the label of that product is the label states you can only do 1/3 to 1/2 of the size of your pond, so you do not deplete your oxygen, because that is what would result in a fish kill, would be the lack of oxygen for the fish. And right now, I'd say we probably have 2 or 3% coverage on that Deerfoot Lake, since it's about, according to Rick, 4.5 acre lake, something like that. So again, those are two options. It's green right now. Now that the stuff's floating on top, the grass carp are not going to take that out. And if we need to get an application of the Diquat on there, it's a product we don't need to purchase. We already own it, already have it.
Okay.
This is a highly, let's say this is a highly noxious weed that, again, called duckweed because it can be spread by wildlife landing on that water. And if they carry that with them in their feathers to another lake, then this stuff can get started. And that's not going to be good if we get this stuff spread around our other lakes by the geese.
All right.
I have a quick question. I read Susan's email to everyone. Steve, is there another product? Supposedly, this product, for whatever reason, has been banned in some of the European countries. Is there another product that would work, maybe not quite as well, but would work maybe in conjunction with the dye that hasn't been banned? Because when I hear that, I kind of wonder, well, you know, I understand what you're saying about EPA and that the U.S. thinks it's a safe product, but other countries apparently don't. I'm just wondering if there's something else we can do instead of that particular chemical.
Yeah, the most safe product there is to use is glyphosate, but we found that we've had an issue with that too. And as far as the toxicity goes, if you look at the European nation right now, they have over 1,000 products. I think it's closer to 1,500 products that they don't have in their country that they deem dangerous, that we have in the United States. And that includes all your sunscreen products, all your cosmetics, scrubbing bubbles bathtub cleaner. You eat red and yellow M&Ms. The red and yellow dye that are in M&Ms are also banned by Europe. Europe also bans Mountain Dew, Girl Scout cookies, Cheez-It crackers, and farm-raised salmon.
Well, doggone.
Wow.
So to my point, is maybe the European Union is maybe being a little overcautious.
Oh, okay, I hear your point. But what was that chemical that you just mentioned?
Glyphosate.
Diquat, glyphosate,
Yeah.
Roundup. It's the safest product in the world, unbeknownst to lawsuits that happened in the west part of the United States. There was court cases won, and there's never been a penny paid out to anybody on those because they don't carry any weight. So, but back to the Diquat product. Diquat is totally safe. Again, no toxicity to fish. There's not an issue. The only way you would get hurt with this is probably if you pricked up and took a big gulp of it straight down and swallowed it like a glass of water. This product ties up just like glyphosate does. It immediately ties up to soil particles. So it doesn't float, it doesn't move. Most of it is absorbed in the water due to turbidity. And turbidity is basically solids that float in the water, which are dead, decaying materials, dirt, and just, you know, the wash that comes in from the sides of the pond. So this stuff ties up. It doesn't transfer. It's not going to go down and hurt anything down as far as Kessler's Swamp or anything like that. But it's the only option we have to stop it. Slow it down even. Glyphosate will stop it. This product will only slow it down. It only takes out what it can see and what gets sprayed at the time of application. Roundup translocates through it and would kill all of it, but we didn't
What
go
can
that
we,
way.
Steve, what can we do to prevent it in the future? Let's say we get rid of it, or for the most part, we have eliminated it. What do we do to prevent it in an ongoing way?
The best way where it starts is in stagnant water, water that's not moving. When you look at that pond, the only time water moves through it right now is when it rains. We had a couple smaller aerators in there. They've got considerable age on them, and the amount of aeration that they were doing is really pretty minimal. It wasn't giving enough motion there. That's why we're hoping, in combination with the fountain, then down the road, the grass carp, keeping them cleaned out. And then occasionally there could be an outbreak like we have right now, to where we'll have to treat around the edges and things down at the shallow end. But aeration in the grass carp, I think, should take care of it long term. But you always have a potential for birds carrying it in and it being another problem.
All right, thanks, Steve.
Okay.
Believe me, no one's going to do anything, especially me, that's going to harm anything in the environment like that. And that's why I researched, and this product was used last year.
Gotcha. All right. Any other questions for Steve?
You say we have it in stock?
Yeah, we have some left.
Yes.
Over last year.
Yep.
All right. Well, we'll just keep moving forward with our plan and keep monitoring the health of that lake.
Thanks for your work, Steve. Appreciate it.
Yep.
No problem. I want to keep it in that little lake.
All right. Lodge. Jeff, this one's yours. Lodge building electrical panel testing. Jeff, did we lose you again?
Yep. Nope, you didn't. I just muted myself and then opened up the quote that came in for the fountain. Do we want to dip back to that real quick or no? It just came in.
Okay. Yeah, we can get back.
Okay. So let me find the darn thing again. Steve, I don't know if it's come through and hit yours yet.
Not yet.
For the Casco Marine 4400 HVX fountain, 240 volt float C85 control panel, 100-foot of cord. It's really not that much of a discount. 2,924. So you're still looking pretty close to $3,000.
Yeah, that's not much of a discount.
Nope.
Jim, I also reached out to the local pond guy. I think after talking to him, he was actually the one, I believe, that installed the one up by the golf maintenance building. I talked to him on Friday, but he hasn't called me back yet.
Do you want to order this one or do you want to wait on another bid?
Let's hold and see if that gentleman gets back with Steve, and we can, I think we need to get it coming, but I think we ought to, since there wasn't much of a discount, it might be a good idea to get another bid.
Gotcha.
Otterbein, Steve, we can reach out to them. If you're okay with it, I'll just forward them the specs without the price on that and say, here's what we're looking for. What's the price? That was who a vendor recommended if we went outside of the program. They're not a vendor, but they know that at least that they're in that business.
Yep, that's good. Yeah, push them to
Okay.
him, and then I'll get back with this guy too.
Okay, very good.
And we can approve this through an email too, right? So we can get
Yeah.
this thing moving.
Yeah, we can do this because we want to get that. We want to get that plan moving on that lake before it kind of greens up and gets out of control again.
Yep.
All right. Any other discussion on the aerator? All right, Jeff.
Did we get the
Lodge
pond
building.
eye in yet?
It's not in yet, no.
Okay, so that's coming from our normal guy.
Yes.
Okay, if it's a problem, let me know because we can get that. I can get it tomorrow.
Okay, got it.
All right. The third
Right,
attempt.
the lodge building electrical panel testing on Friday. I'm gonna make a couple comments here and then turn it over to Marty because I really don't know what I'm talking about. Lodge building will be shutting down power about 9 a.m., de-energizing the entire building until as late as 1 p.m. that same day on Friday, the 23rd of April, with South Central Power's upcoming project of moving things underground. Feel it's wise to actually see what we've got there, what kind of loads we're running and that kind of thing, so that we have a better idea of money that is going to be spent and may need to be spent by membership to make sure that we don't have any hiccups once that project hits the lodge. So Marty's been involved along with Ken Yost and Eric Boysko. We've got another member, Jim Schmidt, that has a company that actually does this type of thing. So he's heavily involved and is getting a couple of his guys out next Friday. Won't be a lot of cost to it. It will cost us for the labor for his guys, but it'll be pretty minimal. Marty, take it away, sir.
Yeah, so part of that that whole thing is to find out what kind of loads we're actually drawing on the building. So I've got a data logger we can connect up to it, and that'll give us the information. So we will need to probably take it down a second time to remove it, which we'll probably do like a week later, so we can get a week of runtime on it. But it's more than just coordinating with the work from South Central. The age of that panel, it's a safety issue, really is what it is. We've had to buy parts from eBay and things like that. And that's not where you want to buy electrical parts. You can't get new parts for it. And so we need to really look at a plan to update the electrical system there. There's just many taps that are coming off of that, and over the years it's just kind of grown and grown and grown, and we should be able to clean that up pretty nicely, but this is the first part of it to figure out what's there.
Gotcha. What's wrong with buying parts off eBay?
Jim, feel free. I'll just, get
High
that
quality
apartment
stuff.
number
Yeah.
on your
Comes in an open thing.
your phone.
I mean, as long as it's not my house.
Yeah, but this is it's just definitely something that we want to take care of from a safety standpoint.
Gotcha. All right. Any questions on that before we move on?
No, I'm good.
Jeff, you have any updates on the RFID gate project?
I do not. Do we want to cover the easement clearing project first?
Oh yeah, I skipped right over that. Yeah.
Okay, so I got a call actually it was just yesterday from the forester with South Central Power, and we've known that it was coming since the time I started, that they're going to need to go through and do some pretty heavy duty trimming and clearing in their easements. So their plan is as such. They are going to start alerting the affected members on site. They'll go door to door. If somebody's not home, they'll leave door hangers on the card with some general information and a phone number to call. That'll be starting the week of April 26th. And then their intent is, and they've got the job bid out and everything else already, their intent is to start clearing on June 1st. And he figures month and a half to 2 months will be the quickest that they can get that done in.
Gotcha. So we've waited 55 years, 58 years, 60 years.
I guess that's why it needs to be so intense.
Yeah. Might as well. A couple more months is going to kill us. Get some power lines finally buried. So, all right, any questions for Jeff on that?
Yeah, well, and to clarify, this isn't the burial. This is just clearing
Yeah,
clearing.
it's
So
clearing.
okay, so the trees aren't hitting power lines and that kind of thing.
Oh, this isn't the actual burial process?
No.
Yeah, I thought it was just clearing the right of ways for that. Go figure. Maybe before I retire, not before Steve retires, but before I retire.
Marty, what were you saying? Oh, there you go.
Yeah, sorry. I think this first part, with the people getting notified of that is just the investigation so that they could set up their sequencing of how they're going to step through Hideaway Hills and do all that, right? And that was going to take, from what I remember, that was going to take about a month to go through all and do all that. Then they would start coming in and do the actual clearing.
Makes sense.
Okay.
All right. Now we can, do you have any RFID gate stuff?
Other than Signature is still not returning calls, and it was nothing but a fast, busy signal there today. So I don't know what's going on with
I've been in
Signature.
touch with somebody else. They're called PSX. And the gentleman I was talking to, apparently Randy had reached out to them back in August, but nothing ever came about it. There was no return calls per se. I think they were dealing with the Cleveland office, and I've been dealing with the Pittsburgh office. But I have somebody looking into it to at least give us quote similar to what Signature did, but we've also talked about, you know, the arm gates and things like that, the breakaway gates. So there probably will be a little difference in communications with him. I had hoped to see if he could get a quote or something, but it's still a little early for him, and I don't want to, you know, be misquoted on any of this. So he'll put something together. If Signature does not respond, I'll reach out to one of the other groups that I had dealing with at the Bridge Commission, and we'll see what we can do. There's enough out there. It's just, you know, how much of a system do we really want? There's the back end, there's the front end, there's the tag readers, there's the transponder. I mean, there's a lot out there. I know people are saying, okay, you know, the minute you get something, somebody else is going to be able to override it. Well, locks keep honest people out. There are systems out there, EasyPass for one, which has been very effective throughout most of the country. Jeff, you know, in Texas, there's probably 6 different entities just in that state alone that do
At least
electronic
4, yeah.
polling.
And EasyPass is one of them. Text Tag is another. But yeah, and I guess I know. Speaking to security concerns, so multiple, if not all, multiple toll systems use this. Texas is no exception. Texas, there are no toll booths you stop at anymore. It's all, you get an Easy Pass or you don't. If you don't, it reads your license plate and you get charged double. I will also say that the RFID technology is something every single major hotel group in the world is using right now. So it has been tested and tested and tested and tested. You know, and it for the Marriotts, the Hiltons, these multi-billion-dollar a year publicly traded companies to be relying on this. And the only hiccup that they found during this whole process was one company that it was accessible. Basically, you could hack somebody's phone, but they nixed that company and are moving forward. So I personally think it's pretty secure technology. At some point, sometime down the road, will somebody have the ability to hack it or violate it? I'm sure. You know, that's just the world we live in right now. But I don't think it is. I don't think it is something that we would be wasting money on, because somebody could sit down the street and read all this information by, I don't know, radar or whatever.
No.
I would say that
It's good.
you've given this Signature company enough chances to allow us to give them money. I would say let's give up on them and go to Plan
Thank you.
B.
I agree.
I'll reach out to I'll reach out to somebody else too. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Jeff, do you want to do lodge updates or club updates first?
Let's do lodge updates first. So we all know reopening is on Thursday, the 15th, Thursday of this week. I will say that our biggest challenge amongst all of this, I think I mentioned it at the last meeting, is that, you know, when we were going into this and setting dates and that kind of thing, kind of planning out the peak season, if you will, we were banking on the for lack of a better term, unemployment bonus ending in May. And we were actually starting to see more applicants around that time than around the first postings than what we're seeing now. With that being extended through September, I think it's just going to be a challenging summer. You know, there are postings everywhere, whether you're in Canal, Winchester, and Lancaster, of people, of restaurants that are desperately in need of help. And Jim Lloyd actually let me know today that there is one in Lancaster that's closing because of lack of staff. A place called the Bistro. So it's going to be a challenge no matter what. So we were really, not to overuse the word challenge, but we were really challenged to come up with some backup plans. So what Aaron did, what Chef Aaron did, was he created a kind of a streamlined menu, rather than having steaks that you've got to wait for different different temperatures to be reached. We're doing a braised beef short rib, and I will tell you that blows every single steak that we tried out of the water. Price point is better. We're able to actually put it on the menu for less expensive. But you'll basically be looking at a few sandwich items, a few salad items, 4 entrees. You know, we're not going to be able to go as big as we wanted to with multiple vegetable choices and starch choices. It's pretty much going to have to be chef's choice of veg and starch, and we'll remain seasonal in order to be able to have the efficiencies, because we've got Aaron and one cook right now. And you know, we're hoping to get somebody in there to help out with the salad side of things. And this is going to be a repetitive issue when we talk about clubhouse updates too. Just have found no applicants for that. On the server side, we've got Jeannie kind of running the show from the bar. She'll handle all food and beverage service in the bar. And then a server that I think is going to be an absolute rock star. She's got Olive Garden. I don't remember the other place she has experience, as well as the Glen Laurel Inn, and she knows what she's doing. Her name is Anna. So everybody will get to meet her this weekend. And she's volunteered or I shouldn't say volunteered. She has agreed to be there 5 nights a week and even help out a tiny bit in the clubhouse. For concert nights, I have been forewarned that the amphitheater concert nights get pretty crazy at the lodge. So our intent there would be to almost operate as a concession stand, have a couple of options, operate outside of the great room, with food coming down from the kitchen into steam tables and chafing dishes to be able to get to people. You know, maybe 2 options, maybe 3 options, be able to get to people quick and easy and let them grab and go and get it downstairs, but to actually keep the dining room closed on those nights. We've got 6 concerts, is that right?
Sounds about right, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, six times during the peak season that we would need to do that. Payroll protection program loan round 4. I have not yet applied for that, but that's the goal this week. We will see if we are qualified now. They did make some additional changes, and the hope would be able to find out quick enough that we can present it at the board meeting next week. If not, we have until the end of May to be able to actually apply for any funds for that.
Okay. Let us know.
Okay.
Let me know if you need help with that.
Okay. Yeah, I've still got the template we used when we applied before, or sent the inquiry out before. I'll just use that same template on Womply. And then Q1 financials. Steve had asked to be able to discuss the financials at minimum quarter by quarter, specifically for the lodge, revenues minus food cost minus labor. So once that has been finalized by the CPA firm, it's still out with them, then, and that'll be before next management meeting, then we'll be able to discuss those numbers a little bit, how we did the first quarter with pizza, subs, and partial closure.
Gotcha. Did we get a hold of the audit firm and get them started?
I've reached out at minimum two, if not three times, and asking for a letter of intent, and still nothing from them.
Okay. Let me know when I can call them. I'm sure they're busy this time of year, but
Okay,
supposed to get
I'll give it one more shot, and I've done by both email and phone, with messages left. If we can, I'll give it one more try and then ask for your help.
Okay.
Okay.
I speak the language.
Very good. And then we also have another member, Janine Markham, that'll be helping out at the lodge Fridays and Saturday nights. Liam will be back, and Gavin's back in the pizza room making pizza.
Gotcha. What help do you need from management?
But frankly, as much food running ability as possible. I think Anna can probably get to the bulk of the tables for order taking and that type of thing. But as far as running food, she won't have time to run food. So that'll be part of my goal, part of anybody else that we have there's objective is to get food run both to the dining room as well as to the bar. Because if it is what we expect it is, then Jeannie won't have time to get back to the kitchen either.
Okay. I can probably help Friday night.
Okay. That would be great.
I can get off the bench either way, Friday, Saturday.
Okay.
Either way.
And I've got she's not standing around the corner. I've got my wife talked into coming to help out, but I want to make sure there's a comfort level there that everybody's good with that before I do that. That's not my first option, obviously, but I think those are the times we're in.
I don't have a problem with it.
Okay.
Yeah, I can help Friday night. Do you think we'll be real busy Thursday night? Or do you need help Thursday night, or?
Probably wouldn't hurt on Thursday as well. I mean, I'll be around all this week until late. Just making sure that we don't get in the weeds. But it wouldn't hurt on Thursday just because it's the very first day that it's reopened.
Yeah, almost fall therapy. So yeah, I can't help Saturday, but yeah, I can help
Yeah.
Thursday.
I can do
Friday.
Saturday.
Okay.
I can do
I'll check
Saturday.
Saturday as well.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Hey,
Thank
Jeff,
Any
you had,
questions on Lodge?
yeah, Jeff, you had talked about a new POS point of sale. Did you ever pull the trigger on that? Are
thank
you
you.
still thinking about that?
No, I did actually. We went back to the current POS system, and what we did was, so basically, for a 1-year agreement, let me backtrack a little bit. So we've got a service agreement right now for this 10-year-old system and equipment that we have in both the lodge and the clubhouse. I talked to Touch Bistro, and they were actually pretty pricey for something that's just cloud-based. But so we went back to Future POS, and we're many upgrades behind. But for essentially another $100 a month, we are getting all 3 terminals replaced in the lodge. We're getting the hard drive replaced in the clubhouse with a solid state drive because that's a newer terminal. And then we're actually getting the server computer replaced that we can continue to use Excel and Word on that for inventories and that kind of thing. That sits down in the chef's office. So that'll keep us from having to buy another computer down there. Don't have to worry about this old one dying on us because we've been kind of afraid to turn it off, to be very honest with you, for fear it won't turn back on. So that's all being done on Tuesday. Now, one of the changes that we're making, it'll end up being an overall savings. So to backtrack, it'll cost us $100 more a month for all of this equipment, okay, a year at a time. $220 a month instead of $120 a month. But what we also did was changed credit card processors because we were using a company called WorldPay. So happens that Future POS is actually owned by Shift4, which is even larger than WorldPay, and is Shift4 dollars on the net. If you've ever been involved with credit card processors, they've been around forever, and they're actually saving us just on the low income, low revenues that we had for January, February, and March, they would have saved us about $100 to $150 a month each location, clubhouse and lodge. So with volume increasing, then it'll save even more because it's actually not only is there almost like a service fee that WorldPay charges that Shift 4 is $65 less a month on per outlet, but there's also a per transaction fee or a percentage of sales that will end up saving us quite a bit more as we get into higher revenue amounts in season.
Gotcha.
Great.
Any other questions on Lodge?
I think Linda had something.
Good, Linda. Got
You might-
unmute.
Yep, you're muted.
Sorry. My only concern about your wife helping,
Mhm.
she's not a member, she's not an employee. If something happens to her, our insurance would not cover her.
Okay, so
Our
it would give you-
insurance covers members, volunteers, and employees. And that, I think, becomes kind of a liability problem. And I hate to be the party buzzkill, but I think that might be an issue.
so you're saying hire her?
Well, yeah,
You know,
that would be
when
the
you need
better
help, you
thing
need
to
help.
do.
So
Yeah,
That would be the better thing to do.
okay,
I think so.
yeah, and
I
she'd
don't
have to
think-
do
I don't think
background.
that's a
too.
conflict.
yeah, I'm pretty sure she can pass at least for the past 32 years.
But yeah, I think if you want to hire as a
Okay.
temp, cool.
Okay,
She would be covered under workers' comp that way.
Yep.
okay,
Yeah.
we can do that.
Good catch, Linda. Thank you.
You
Well,
have been up
thank-
here for 6 months, Jeff. You don't know what she was doing while you're.
Well, and Jeff, she could report to Jim, and then there's no nepotism problem.
Yeah,
There you go. Or Jeannie.
Or
Jeannie.
Jeannie. Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah.
that's right.
Mm.
Okay, cool.
Not that we want to give Jeannie any more work, but you know.
well, and trust me that as soon as we get enough staffing, she'll be happy to bow out of any assistance that she provides and come up and sit down and enjoy a meal.
Well, it's very nice for her to offer, Jeff.
I'm
you
kind of
offer
thinking
her.
we need her instead of him because she's got to be better looking.
Oh, by far. Y'all saw the pictures. Come on.
All right, Jeff, what do you got for clubhouse updates?
Staffing challenges as well. We have actually, other than Anna agreeing to help out on Sundays, we've got it is the Chris, Renee, and Sydney show. Jeannie is going to help out down there on Mondays. Is the plan, Monday nights. And Chris is stepping up and agreeing to work 6 days a week, 7 until we get Anna trained for the short term. Anna's a pretty quick study, so I don't think that'll be a problem. But we are at the point where something's going to have to give. So there's a few backup plans that we're talking about. I just want to make sure there's no objection here to any of those, and then we're going to have to do what we're going to have to do, because right now, they're doing $800 to $1,000 a day, if not a little bit more in sales, which is not something that one person can continue to do.
Not well.
You figure, on $5, $6, and $7 food, you're doing about $400 to $500 worth of that food. So we're going to take a couple items off of the current menu, a couple items that are a little bit longer prep times. But when we've only got one person in there, there are going to be times, that I guess what we're talking about is like the nights that the lodge is open, that the clubhouse is also open. Start off with going to at 5 o'clock appetizers only, because most of that is fried. Can be quick. You can put it in the fryer, walk away from it, and come back to it. And not a lot of prep time on any of that. Not a lot of plate up time, I guess I should say. Next step, if that doesn't work well, is we're going to have to essentially say, okay, either the kitchen closes at 5 on the nights that the lodge is open, and the lodge will provide food, for anybody that's hungry, that's looking for a restaurant. Or kind of an in between there is say, okay, so tonight it's going to be, you got Taco Tuesday right now. That's all pretty well made in advance, and all they have to do is put the meat in the tacos. Have the same type of thing with a hamburger night and that kind of thing. Maybe nights that hot dogs are available, but for the one person that we've got there most of the time, we're going to have to provide them with some support in terms of making sure that they can actually get the job done without hurting themselves or burning themselves out.
Yes, I agree.
Okay. So like I said, we'll start light. We'll see how that goes. Breakfast. And I think we're going to do it closer to the end of April instead of this week. But go to the 7 days a week. And what Chris is talking about is 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, with the kitchen closing at 7 or 7:30, and then bar service after that. We can always have pre-made sandwiches and that kind of thing ready to go, or hot dogs in the steam table. Fridays 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Saturdays the same. And then with just one person working on Sunday, and that being someone that's new, do a 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Sunday. So breakfast on Fridays and Saturday, potentially Sunday. My thought is we go with one item. We can alternate between breakfast tacos, have a couple types, have them already prepped, put together, wrapped in foil, and in a chafing dish or the steam table just to grab. Do breakfast burritos on a different day. Do breakfast sandwiches on another day, are the examples that we've come up with so far, and a couple of different types of each. One with meat, one with no meat. But I don't see us being able to do everything else that needs to be done with one person and actually be able to get back there and flip an egg and that kind of thing. All this stuff pretty well need to be prepped ahead of time. Okay.
Jeff, is there a way, I don't know how they're equipped there, but could we pre-bake pizzas at the lodge and then allow them to have the final few minutes? Do they have a type of oven they could do that with there? And then
in the clubhouse we don't. They've got, I guess we've got one of the, I have not seen it, but I understand we have one of the holding racks, if you will. If you go to Costco or Sam's Club in their deli area where they've got all the pizza slices, something to keep them warm. We don't really have the room for it, and frankly, before I say, hey, yes, let's do that, because Jim and I had talked about it once before, I'd rather see how busy the lodge is, how many people are ordering pizzas and that kind of thing, because and we won't have somebody up at the lodge early enough to run the pizza oven for lunchtime pizzas. So if you did dinner, and we've got to make sure that we can actually accommodate that with what Gavin can crank out, and then get it delivered down to the clubhouse from the lodge. So.
okay.
So I guess the answer on that is it is a good idea. It's something we've discussed, but I would say at this point we need to hold on it and make sure that we can actually do it before we commit anything.
Yep.
Fair enough.
So any objections to any of those reduce or minimize staffing backup plans?
Give it a try, see what happens.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. And then the rest, the other item for Clubhouse is really the smoking area discussion. I know that was something that management needed to discuss. So tell me which direction we're going to go.
All right. It's probably been the most discussed thing in the history of Hideaway Hills, bar none. So what the different, I mean, right now, typically the back deck in the lodge has been smoking. The outdoor shelter house has also been smoking, which does not leave a area for non-smokers to eat outside, presumably away from smokers. So there was a smoking committee put together. They came up with a plan to take out some of the landscaping and put some picnic tables kind of in front of the lodge. several members of the golf committee objected to that adamantly. And I kind of see their point. It's a nice tree. It's been nice landscaping they've maintained for the last several years. But frankly, they didn't come back with a viable option for a non-smoking area. Marty and I were up there golfing. We did walk around the building a little bit. There's really not a good area to put another deck or any type of area without taking up any parking area. And then people are kind of sitting out by the road anyway, which is not ideal. My proposal, and it's a compromise, is we come up with a date and say, from May 1st to October 31st, the back deck of the clubhouse is non-smoking, and the shelter house is the designated smoking area. And then from November 1 to April 30th, the back deck of the clubhouse is smoking. And that way, because people really aren't going to eat out there when it's cold anyway. That way we kind of compromise. We don't have to do a lot of tearing out landscaping and changing the aesthetics of the clubhouse. So I guess that's my proposal, but I'm sure everyone else's point too. I think we do need to come up with a compromise and implement it.
So I have a question. I will ask for a memory refresher on Ohio weather. How often is it cold in May or October, like to the point where people wouldn't want to go out?
I would say you'll have a few evenings that are a little crappy, like a little windy. Mostly when you get like next Wednesday, men's golf league starts, most of the smokers will sit out there like on Wednesday nights anyway, because they're sitting outside, as people get done golfing. October typically is pretty nice. I mean, you might get a few evenings that are toward the end of October that get a little cold in the evening. We've got two sides of that covered. We can't close it in a third. I guess for Ohio law, you can only have two sides closed for a smoking area.
Right.
But we could, I think if we put the other one down, that block toward the golf course, you could open one of the others and block the wind. You'd have that option. But
okay,
it's not ideal for either group, but that was just my thoughts. But I'm open on dates also, but it's a compromise.
Okay. Without having to count on my fingers, that's 6 months and 6 months. Is that?
Yeah, I was just trying to do it based on otherwise when I thought whether it was conducive to dine out on the clubhouse deck and when it's conducive to be able to smoke outside under shelter.
Okay.
So
I know at one
Same
point
decision that we made this fall.
Rex did again.
I'm sorry. I think that's the same decision we made this fall when we said that the back deck be smoking during the winter, but we could change it in the spring. So really, we're not changing the.
We're just making it sort of official, permanent, I guess.
Yeah,
is my thought.
And I'm sorry, Jeff, I cut you off there.
No, that's okay. And so I know, and keep in mind I was involved in one smoking committee meeting, so I don't know a lot of the discussions that have taken place other than just hearing people talk. I know there was at some point, or I understand that there was at some point some kind of temperature variance thought for when it's, if it's above this or it's smoking. Or I'm sorry, if it's above this, it's non-smoking. If it's below this, then it's smoking. Is that?
I think it's going to get very hard to police. Very hard. It's just going to put something on our employees. Recommended. That's my thought.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree. It's, a lesson that we learned a long time ago was the KISS method, right? Keep it simple, stupid. So, if we just stick with the time frame a year, we're better off.
Okay.
One thing I'm good at is not making everyone happy. I found that out in almost 6 years of this job is do
Yep.
not make it happy, but it's a compromise, and I think it's a reasonable one. But
I think it's fair. I think what we have to do is, like you said, we got to compromise. There's a give and take with this. At least let's, maybe sign off on this now. If something else happens and we see other reasons why we have to change it, then we look at it again. But right now, we have to get something out there where we can be somewhat consistent, if not totally consistent, and not leave it up to the employees, which I think we got to take it out of their hands too. It's not fair to them.
Yeah, we don't need to get them getting the pushback on it. And I guess I will just say that, and I don't know the answer. The original conversations about this that I was involved in that one smoking committee, and where the initial thoughts came from for both the lodge and the clubhouse, had to do with trying to minimize any loss of business and or maximize revenues. So as long as that is being taken into consideration, knowing that certainly everybody's got a choice, I understand there's been some protest and some boycotting and that kind of thing. I don't do Facebook, so I don't know the extent of it, but
you're better off. Better off.
Oh yeah. No, I know, and it will remain that way. I guess I just want to make sure we're thinking about any potential business impact as well, because we still want to try and be able to run something that is close to break even.
Absolutely I absolutely factor that in. I'm trying to come up with a compromise that the non-smokers can come and dine, and as well as accommodate our smokers, and who I know spend a lot of money there. So, I mean, I've taken all that into consideration. That's why I want to hear everyone else's thoughts too. This is 5 people's decision or 6 people's decision, not one.
Not anybody's decision on the management.
What was that?
What?
Is that Jim Lloyd?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What'd you say,
What did
Jim?
you have to add, Jim? Jim, would you like to add something? Okay. Cool. So, Steve and
I didn't know my mic was on. No, this is your decision, but I think the board's going to have to vote on it. I've been listening to the whole meeting. I didn't realize my mic was on.
Oops, did I say that out loud?
Does the board need to vote on this, Jim? Because it's not changing a rule.
I hope I haven't said anything else. I just tuned in to listen to the whole meeting.
You'll have to check out the recording when it gets posted now.
I'm going to mute my mic right now and let you all talk, because I'm just here as a listener.
Okay. I don't know that this is a rule change. This is just the management committee's always kind of set the tone, the smoking area, that back deck, that the lodge is in a rule that it is non-smoking. I know the clubhouse shelter house is a rule that says it is smoking. Absent a complete rule change, that back deck has been left to the management committee.
I guess, Jim, I am going to jump in here real quick.
Okay.
There's no rule one way or the other. If you're going to make it non-smoking, the board's going to have to make a rule. However you guys decide, you can recommend. But I do believe that the board will have to make the final decision on it, and then there will be a rule made. It will be non-smoking from May to October or whatever it is. But and like I said, I'm sorry, I didn't even realize my mic was on. I've been quiet all night. I just been
That is
listening
pretty
to
amazing.
Really right, it is. Whatever y'all decide, there's going to have to be a rule made on it so that it can go that way. We can always change the rule later, but there is right no rule against smoking on the back day. And you guys threw a moratorium in COVID, and that was fine. We didn't have a problem with it. But if you're going to make it a permanent decision, there's going to have to be a rule on it. I'm sorry, but that's just kind of the way this thing floats.
If Jim, if so, and I'm talking Jim Sigafus,
Yeah,
if so, just bring it to the board on Tuesday. We can agree to have an interim rule until a rule is drafted. Yeah,
it would be nice to have a complete rule and just be done with it before I die or get off the management committee. One of the two.
well, we
All
might,
right.
be able-
That's
we
fair
might be
enough.
able to do it before then. I'm not
I'm
sure, but
hoping, because I've been talking about this for 4 years. All right, so does anybody have a problem with the dates if we take it to the board?
No, let's
For
take it to the board that
clarification,
way.
Steve
11/1 to 4:30 is what you're
What-
thinking?
would be smoking.
November 1st to April 30th would be smoking on the back deck of the clubhouse. I am in favor of that.
Yeah, November 1st, to April 30th, and then May 1st to October 31st would be non-smoking.
Let's
That's
give it a go. Let's try it, make it an
Yeah.
interim rule and then, then it can go before the board and say, let's make it permanent or otherwise.
Fair enough. All right.
So,
All
so
right.
maybe,
Anything
maybe
else?
the rule should be that the management committee can deem things, adjust smoking in areas that are normally not anyhow. It's something more flexible. But I
Careful what
agree
you
that
ask.
we should go
Careful what you
forward.
ask for.
yeah, definitely.
Careful what you ask for, Marty.
I think
Little-
until a rule was drafted, the board would have to agree to an interim rule while the rule was being drafted. That would be how it would work.
Gotcha.
Fine with that.
All right. All right. Anything else people want to bring up for public discussion?
I want to apologize for jumping in there, guys. I really didn't even realize my mic was on.
That's all right, Jim.
Years. Why would I know
Glad you
something
brought
like
it up.
that?
It's all right.
But I do apologize. I did not want to meeting.
No worries, Jim.
No problem.
All right, Jeff, let's stop recording. We can go into executive session.